Hey, today we're going to be mock drafting. We're going to be doing a Dynasty startup mock draft on Sleeper. Now, I really wanted to do this draft with Pierre, but unfortunately he's getting hammered by those winter storms and he has no power. So thoughts to everybody being affected by those storms right now. Hopefully they let up soon and we can get back to normal. But I am going to do this mock draft against the AI, and the AI is actually pretty good and will give you a good idea of where players are being drafted if you're planning on doing a Dynasty startup draft or two this year. Now, before I get into the draft, I do want to let you know, Pierre and I are going to be doing all sorts of mock drafts all off season long, and we want you to join us. That's right, we want you to do these drafts with us, just like you'll see here. All you got to do is go to fantasyfootballendgame.com/mock.php, enter your name and your email, and we will add you to the list, and we'll let you know every single week when we launch new mock drafts that you can join. And if you don't want to type in the URL, of course, the link is also down in the description. Just click it, enter your name, your email, and we'll keep you notified. With that out of the way, let's get into the draft. All right, so as you can see here, I have it set to a Dynasty, a 12-team league. It's PPR. I think it just automatically sets it to PPR. I have it set to a 10-minute timer because I want to be able to kind of discuss my picks with you, let you know what I'm thinking, so you can kind of get a behind-the-scenes look of why I'm making the pick and what my thought process is. The CPU will not take 10 minutes, don't worry. The CPU will pick very quickly. Have it set to all players, so rookies as well. Snake draft, let's update that, make sure that that is saved. All right, and then we're gonna go into our roster, and I have the roster size set to 20, so we have 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flex positions, and then 12 bench spots. I think this is a pretty standard Dynasty format. All right, let's set the draft order and let's see where I'm picking. And I get the 6th spot. Okay, right in the middle. Not my favorite, but we'll make it work. All right, with that out of the way, let's start the draft. All right, so as you can see, pretty standard. Oh, that's pretty early for Tyreek Hill. Adams gone. So, okay. So I have an interesting decision here. Now, normally in a Dynasty startup, I prefer to go wide receiver heavy. I just think they're easier to predict year to year. They typically have longer careers. So when we look at the running backs here, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is going to be hard for me to pass up on. And I love Jonathan Taylor going into 2020, but he's not really a sure thing. So I am going to go with a wide receiver here. And I know most people would probably take Jonathan Taylor there, and I won't be mad at you if you do. But I just feel more comfortable getting those stud early wide receivers in Dynasty. And I'm going to go with our overall number 1 Dynasty wide receiver, and that's DK Metcalf. All right, so we'll let it come back around. So this is the problem with picking 6. You got to sit here and wait while these players go off the board. All right, again. So if we look at our options here, I could go running back with Zeke, and I do like Zeke, and I do think Zeke is going to bounce back in 2020. But I don't like Zeke a ton. There's still risk here. And how many more years does Zeke really have at elite level? Kyler Murray, don't really like taking a quarterback this early. Diggs and Hopkins are the two. And I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs. A little younger than DeAndre Hopkins, and he's tied to Josh Allen. I think he's got a lot of elite years left ahead of him. So I am going to go wide receiver here, which I do a lot in Dynasty startups anyways. And I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs. So definitely coming around here. Don't want to wait too long. Now, I would like to pair. It would be great to pair Diggs with Josh Allen. I do like getting those quarterback wide receiver stacks, but again, I don't like taking a quarterback quite this early. And when I look at here, there's a couple players jumping off the page, right? It is a 1 tight end league. I could go with Travis Kelce, lock in that stud tight end for at least the next couple of years. Austin Eckler, but Cam Akers really jumping off the page to me here. To get Cam Akers as my RB1 after starting wide receiver, I think that's a huge win. I got to go with Cam Akers here. I know if Pierre was here, he would love that pick. If Pierre was here, he probably wouldn't get Cam Akers in the 3rd round, though. So definitely okay with that pick. Let's move this down so you guys can see who's being drafted here. All right, so let's look at who we got tight ends here. So the tight ends are gone, so might have regretted missing out on Travis Kelce there. Trevor Lawrence, I think that's too soon for Lawrence. If we look at the other running backs, man, Mixon here in the 4th is looking good. I think Mixon's in for a big bounce back, and I like him in Dynasty a lot. Huge. I really like Allen Robinson in Dynasty. This is tough. It's really close for me between Allen Robinson or even Terry McLaurin and Joe Mixon. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the wide receiver. I'm gonna go with Allen Robinson. I may regret that. I do like Joe Mixon a lot though, as far as dynasty value goes. But I'm gonna go with the wide receiver. So let's see, coming back around. So we're definitely starting to see quarterbacks. You know, we're getting away from those elite quarterbacks. And between Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott, I actually prefer Dak Prescott. I know there's been some, rumors going around that Russell Wilson wants out of Seattle. I don't think that's going to happen. Dak Prescott, I think worst case scenario is going to be franchised by Dallas. He's a top 5 quarterback in redraft or dynasty. I'm going to go with my QB1 here and lock up Dak Prescott. All right, so coming back around. It's pretty open here as far as where I could go. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at tight ends. Who's still there? Now, Kyle Pitts is interesting. Do I trust Kyle Pitts enough to draft him here? I know a lot of people love Kyle Pitts coming into this draft, but I think I can wait on tight end a little bit. Who we got at wide receiver? Juju's interesting. Could be on will almost certainly be on a new team this year. Definitely Galladay, another guy probably on a new team. How about a running back? None of these running backs really stand out to me. I'm going to go. Pitts. I'm going to go with Galladay. Let me look at my roster here real quick. So he would basically be my flex. Or I could go tight end. How many tight ends? Let me just pop this up a little more. What are we looking at here? Fant. I do like Fant. I do like Gesicki. I think I could probably wait and get one of those guys in the next round. Maybe Hunter Henry, maybe Evan Ingram. Running back wise, I do like Melvin Gordon for Dynasty, actually. I think he's being very undervalued in Dynasty. I think he's a solid RB2 here. I think... So I like him more than I like some of these. When we look at these wide receivers, you still got Kupp, Chark. I think there's guys coming back around. I'm going to get Melvin Gordon now. Get my RB2 now and see who comes around here. Now, I might be looking at tight end here. So if we look at the tight ends, so Noah Fant is still there. I really like Noah Fant. Chark, I like Chark. I like Johnson. I like Woods. I like Pittman. I'm going to grab Noah Fant here. Lock in my tight end 1. I think we had him as tight end 4 in Dynasty behind Waller. Still super young, productive tight end. So I'm very happy with that pick. Now, I'll probably circle back around. Let's see. Okay. Not a lot screaming out to me. I do like Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd undervalued every single year. If we look at some of the other wide receivers here, wow, we got Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham as my wide receiver 4. That'd be pretty nice. We got Cortland. Okay, this is crazy to me. If Cortland Sutton is here in your drafts, I think you have to take Cortland Sutton. I don't understand this. It's easy to forget because he barely played last year, but Cortland Sutton is a top 20 wide receiver. I'm grabbing Cortland Sutton there. He's still really young. I think that's a great pick there. Let me scroll this down so you guys can see. I know my screen isn't the biggest. I don't have some crazy 8,000-inch monitor. Let's move this back down so you guys can see the picks as they're going. So Odell is still there. Denzel Mims. I really like Denzel Mims. How are we looking on QB? So there's definitely some QBs down here I like. If we take a look, Matt Ryan, I'd be okay with. Stafford, I'd be okay with. Tannehill, I'd be okay with. Maybe even Brady. So not really feeling like I need to take a quarterback there. I do like Raheem Mostert, especially as my RB3. I think that's potential. Odell's jumping off the page to me. Deebo Samuel jumping off the page to me. Robbie Anderson. There's a lot of wide receiver value, so I don't think I need to worry about that right now. Wow, Dallas Goedert this far down. If I can get Dallas Goedert down here, I'm going to wait for that. I think I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert. I do need another running back, and I think when you start to look at these other running backs, there's a lot of risk. We know that Mostert, when healthy, he's a starter in San Fran, so I'm going to take Raheem Mostert here. I think that's great value. Okay, so Odell did get drafted, unfortunately. But we still have guys like Deebo and the others. Like we have Deebo, maybe. Debo's still there. Debo's gone. All right, so let's look. I do still need that QB2. I don't want to wait too long. Who's available here? I do think it's really important to get 2 QBs you really like in Dynasty, even in a 1 QB league. If you can have like 2 top 12, top 15 quarterbacks, that is a nice advantage, especially for injuries or bye weeks. So I'm going to grab Matthew Stafford here. I think his value is going to go up quite a bit with the Rams. So I'm going to take Matthew Stafford here before the quarterbacks dry up. So let you guys see who's getting drafted here. I need to start thinking about my second tight end because, again, that's another thing. In a 1 tight end league, you do want to have options at tight end. So who we got at tight end? So Dallas Goedert's still there. I do like Logan Thomas as well, but, man, Dallas Goedert, I think we had him as number 5 for our number 5 Dynasty tight end. So to be able to get him in the 11th round, I think I got to jump on that. So roster, I think, is looking pretty good right now. We got Dak, we got Cam and Gordon as our RBs. I think that's a great RB1, RB2. We got Metcalf and Diggs. That's awesome for our wide receivers, of course. Noah Fant, love that at our tight end. We got Robinson, Sutton, Mostert, as our potential flexes. We got Goddard as our backup tight end. That's great. We got Stafford as a backup quarterback. I'm loving this team so far. I would be very happy with this team in real life. So we can kind of ignore quarterback for a little while. Okay. So when we look at here, I want to talk about Nehem Heinz because Nehem Heinz is a running back that I really like in Dynasty. I think he's very undervalued right now. We're probably looking at a 1-2 punch of Jonathan Taylor and Nehem Heinz, and especially in a PPR format. Love Nehem Heinz. Let's see who we got wide receiver. Okay, Samuel's another guy. Not Samuel. Mooney. Darnell Mooney, another wide receiver I really like. Has tons of upside. He's still super young. When we're talking about these bench spots, you want to be looking for 2 things, youth and upside, or a veteran with upside. You want one of those 2. And I think Mooney gives you the youth with the upside. Now, Nehem Heinz, I think, is okay, but I don't know if he quite has the upside. He'll give it to you here and there, but I don't know if he has that like year-to-year upside like Darnell Mooney has. Let me see, are there any other wide receivers that are just crazy values down here? Not really. Okay, I think Darnell Mooney's the pick. I've talked about Darnell Mooney a few times as a potential second-year breakout. We know they're probably going to get a quarterback upgrade there in Chicago, so really like Darnell Mooney. All right, coming back around here, let's see. Running back, Le'Veon Bell. Okay. There's actually a running back that's jumping off the page here to me, and that's Jamar Jefferson, the incoming rookie. Obviously, landing spot is going to matter. It always matters. But I think he could be a beast in the NFL if he goes to the right spot. And to get him this late, again, he checks that box, youth and upside. He could be a bust, right? He could land in a bad spot, but until then, we don't know. I think right now he's worth the pick. So I'm going to grab Jamar Jefferson as my RB4. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm actually feeling pretty good about my wide receiver and my running back room right now, considering where I'm drafting these guys. So let's see. We do need to start thinking about a potential QB3. Who's still available here? Do I go like Zach Wilson here and just give myself 3, or Mac Jones and give myself 3 solid QBs? I don't know. Let's see. Who we got at running back? Pierre, McKissick. Nobody really jumping off that page. I could get Wilson, so I get that 1-2 punch there in San Fran, but not really a fan of that. All right, so definitely somebody jumping off the page of me here, and that's another potential second-year breakout, and that's Gabriel Davis, who I've talked about a lot as well. I think I got to go Davis here. I know I do have Stephon Diggs, but I think it's okay. I think he's got tons of youth. Well, he's definitely got youth, but tons of upside as well, so he checks those boxes. So let's go down here. What are we looking at? If we look at all, what's the ADP suggesting? So maybe I grab Zach Wilson here. How are we looking at tight end? Maybe Ebron. Again, it's good to have depth at tight end because 1 tight end league, if you get a couple injuries, you have no chance really to grab anybody. So Ebron potential. I do like Ebron. Hamler. Don't really love any of these wide receivers. Don't really love any. David Johnson, but he's so meh, right? No upside. I think I need more depth at tight end than I do at QB. Who else we got down here? Who else are we looking at? Hunter Long, Blake Jarwin. Yeah, I'm going to go with, I know Adam Troutman is interesting, but I'm going to go with Ebron. We've seen him have a lot of upside with Big Ben, and we know Big Ben's at least coming back for 1 more year. So at least I have a third tight end for a year, and then maybe I can sell him in the offseason. You never know how those things will work out. So Zach Wilson's still there. I think that's a sign that I need to draft Zach Wilson as my QB3. He could be a top 5 real-life NFL draft pick. So as my QB3, I'm totally excited about that. So at this point, I really don't need another tight end. I really don't need another quarterback. I have 4 picks left. So we're just going to go, again, youth and upside here. And we're just going to take best player available, basically. QB, I mean, don't even look at QB. Let's look at Gus. I kind of like Gus Edwards, but not a lot of upside. All right, so there's a couple wide receivers here I like. One's got youth, one's got more of a veteran. And I think I'm going to go with the youth here of Van Jefferson over Antonio Brown, even though I do really like Antonio Brown. But I have Matthew Stafford, right? I picked Matthew Stafford. Make sure I remember that right. Yeah, I have Matthew Stafford. Now, he's not my QB1, but I may be playing him from times. And there may be weeks where I want to stack Stafford with Van Jefferson. Let's not forget the Rams drafted Van Jefferson for a reason. They need that guy to take the top off. They need that outside threat. So I'm going to go with Van Jefferson here. Youth and upside once again. All right, so coming back down. Let's move this down so you guys can see what's going on here. Sterling Shepard, that's some nice value for Sterling Shepard there. All right, so if we look here, running backs. See again, you get down to this point, there's no running backs that really jump off the page. But there is there's a couple running wide receivers here I'm looking, and that's Russell Gage and Paris Campbell. Now I like Russell Gage a little bit more just because we've actually seen him on the field. We've seen him do it. Julio Jones, probably on the downswing of his career. We don't know how many healthy years he really has left. I do like Paris Campbell, but we haven't seen him on the field much. He's got more of a risk. I'm going to go with Russell Gage. I think he's got plenty of upside in a great offense. I think Russell Gage is the pick here. So I have 2 more picks coming up. There goes Paris Campbell. So can't get him. All right. So again, looking at the wide receivers here, not a ton of wide receivers I love. Maybe is there like a RB5 I can grab who, not really. I mean, Ahmed, he was nice, but they got Myles Gaskin. There's talk that they might sign like Aaron Jones. Mike Davis. I mean, there is talk that McCaffrey might get traded, but I don't see that happening. Gus Edwards. But again, just not a lot of upside there. Let's go back to wide receiver. And, maybe Preston Williams. This is another guy that's kind of been forgotten because of injuries, but he's been nice. He's been nice when he's been on the field. Nobody else really jumping off the page here for me, so I'm going to go with Preston Williams. Now as you come down, now I'm starting to see some wide receiver values. Where am I here? Am I on my last pick? Okay, so this is our last pick of the draft. Let's just shoot. We got to shoot for the moon here, right? And it's probably not going to happen with any of these running backs. Probably going to happen with a wide receiver. Gandy Golden, potential breakout. AJ Green, probably not going to do it. Don't see anything there. Oh, here we go. How about Quintus Cephas? We've talked about him a couple times. Now, he has tons of athleticism. He's an athletic freak. He could maybe do nothing in the NFL, but he does have Jared Goff, who we know can support fantasy wide receivers. They're probably going to either draft or maybe trade for a guy, or maybe they'll just roll with Jared Goff for a year and then go out and upgrade that quarterback position. Or maybe they can, Jared Goff can have a resurgence there in Detroit. So I think Cephas checks the boxes of youth and upside. So he will be my last pick. And then we'll see the end of the draft here. A lot of running backs to end. And there we go. So there you go, guys. You got to kind of sit along with me in a mock Dynasty startup draft. I'm going to put a link to the draft in the description below if you want to see the entire draft board. And again, if you guys want to draft live with Pierre and I, we'd love to have you completely free. We're going to do it all off season. Every week we'll be sending out links to new drafts, but you got to get on the list. And in order to do that, you go to fantasyfootballendgame.com/mock.php or click the link in the description. All you got to do is enter your name and your email. And every week we'll send you out a list of new mock drafts that you can do live with Pierre and I, just like I did now, but without the AI, with real people and Pierre and I. So you definitely don't want to miss that. It's going to be a ton of fun. And hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you found it valuable, if you found it helpful, if you found it entertaining, hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. It really helps us out. And drop us a comment. Let me know, how did I do? How was my team? What do you think of my team? Who would you have taken in different spots? Who would you have drafted? What was your thought process going down with it? And let us know how many Dynasty startup drafts you plan on doing this year, if any. Let us know in the comments. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.